Welcome to episode 92 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to the man behind the scenes at SA Rugby, logistics manager for the Springboks, JJ Fredericks. Afternoon, JJ. How are you doing today?
Well, good, Adam. I trust you well is also good, eh?
Yeah, as well as we can be in this current situation. JJ, we are back a while. You've been with the Springboks for a number of years, and we'll get onto your career shortly. Have you always been a rugby fan and a rugby lover ever since you were a lighty?
Yes. Fortunately, I played professional rugby for about 10 years, and obviously after stopped playing, I got an opportunity to work at Saru, and and here we are, about 12 years. Still working with SA Rugby. Privilege, nice place. I think the ideal place for any sports person to get associated, especially with the Springbok brand. Started out as a driver at the office, and then obviously got the opportunity to manage the junior Springboks. And after that, after Jake White left, Peter de Villiers stepped in, and he gave me an opportunity to work as the logistics manager of the team. And yeah, I'm still going.
JJ, I mean, that must be one hell of a job. Thinking of the box going overseas, obviously it's more difficult. Tell us what involves being the logistics manager.
Adam, for being in the job for quite some time now, I wouldn't say it's easy, but you kind of understand the mechanics of how the team operates. So the first thing that we look at as the logistics component, which is myself and Charles Wessels. So we look at the fixture, and then obviously we decide, or we work out a plan how we operate. In other words, we look at hotels where the team will stay. We look at training venues. We look at gymnasiums, and besides that, we also look after the equipment, and then obviously getting the guys get in contact with the sponsor, which is Essex currently, to sort out the kit and designs of all that for the team. Yeah, so in a nutshell, we basically look after the team off the field, and the coaches will look after them on the field. Yeah.
And tell me, JJ, when you guys travel, how many sort of tons of stuff do you take with you?
We've got better in the past, Adam. You built relationships with people in other countries where you go, where you play. Obviously, we don't take a scrum machine with us because we've got contact on that side. So usually when we go abroad, we take about 3 or 5, say maximum of 5 tons of gear with us, which is a lot. Yeah. So what we usually do, if we go, say, arguments, if we go the end of year tour, we'll send all those stuff, say, 2 weeks before team departs across to the UK, and obviously to the hotel or wherever we set up base. Yeah.
And I mean, you must have had some massive logistical challenges in the past. Have there been any countries that have been particularly difficult in terms of having to perform your role?
Yes. In the beginning, I think Argentina was quite a difficult place to tour. They always play against them far north or far south or far east, which is quite challenging, especially when you tour with a big squad. Obviously, if you go from Buenos Aires, you most probably, if you fly to Argentina, you go through Sao Paulo, you connect to get into Buenos Aires, and from Buenos Aires you have to travel whether north or whether south, but you have to go somewhere. And that's always challenging, especially with the amount of weight that we carry with us, because the aircrafts on that side, they're quite small. So yeah, but as I said, as we went along, we got better at it, and we started connecting with people and trying to send stuff before the team departure.
And JJ, you must have worked with quite a few of the Springbok managers, obviously since Peter de Villiers. How have they always been towards you as a team? Because you're an integral part of the team. Do they involve you quite significantly?
Yes, you know, we operate, as I said, we look after the team off the field. The coaches see to the structure and the play. So when we have our annual meeting, as we had beginning of this year before COVID, and because we get the fixtures way it's like for Sansa, you get the fixtures 3 years in advance. From World Rugby, you get those fixtures up until the next Rugby World Cup. So what we do, we sit and plan. We see where we're playing or which teams we play. We drop the plan, present it to the coach. Obviously, we must have his buy-in, and obviously, the coach will have the final say. But we can always guide him and direct him to say, this is the challenges that we had when we played there. We should look at staying in this hotel. So we propose the plan to him, and he must sign it off. Yeah.
And have you had any of all the managers? Have any been specifically your favorite, or are you kind of neutral and all of them have been good guys?
They're good people. I know from Peter de Villiers, they're all different characters, but great people to work with. As I said, the environment where you work in, it's a privilege. Peter de Villiers, funny guy, but a great guy. Heineke was more like a hitmaster, you know. And then obviously Alistair could see also a great guy to work with. And obviously Rassie Erasmus, all know Rassie is Rassie, will stay Rassie. But all of them, they give you the freedom to do your work, and obviously take guidance. And you know, one thing that I can say, if you propose something, they won't like shoot it off, but they'll give the input, and obviously they are the guys that have the final decision of where we go and how we go about it.
Yeah. And JJ, in terms of you mentioned characters a bit earlier, you must have been dealt with a hell of a lot of characters in terms of the players. Have there been any sort of specific players which sort of stand out to you as sort of the comedians and the jokers of the team?
I think the comedian in the past was Jacques Fourie, Morsi, and then obviously Jean de Villiers as well. But I think when they made him the captain, he sort of got rid of that tag, but still he's a great comedian. You have guys like Willem Alberts, Bones, who will see the funny side of everything. You have characters like Bakkies Boot, your Victor Matfields, Skalk Burger, another outstanding chap, and obviously Little Skalk, as I call him, Junior Skalky, also a character. But yeah, a lot of good guys, and as I said, privileged to work with them.
And JJ, I worked on the FIFA Club World Cup in Japan many years ago, and I was lucky enough to be with Man United. But they were honestly like a bunch of school kids. They were playing silly buggers in the dressing rooms and messing around and throwing the balls against the roof. And is it the same with the Boks in terms of the dressing room? They're like a bunch of little schoolboys?
Absolutely, absolutely. They're funny. They hide each other's boots. They hide each other's trainers. They take each other's shirts. Yeah, they go crazy in the change room, especially, which is good. You know, there should be a balance. That's my personal opinion. But especially guys that we took to Rugby World Cup, they knew when to flick on the switch,
Yeah.
and they knew when to have fun. So that was great. Yeah.
And JJ, I mean, over the years, you've been there for so many now. Has the ethos of Springbok rugby sort of remained the same throughout the period, or has it shifted in any way? So, what does the Springbok guys actually stand for?
Yeah, obviously, as the brand speaks for itself. The ethos, as you say, the guys who come into the Springbok environment, there's a code of conduct that we operate by. Obviously, presenting our country, which is the ultimate, and then obviously presenting what the country stands for. Um, the ethos will always stay the same. But the main objective, I think, especially with Rassie Erasmus, was to change the perception of how the people see the Springboks. And Rassie always said, to be a Springbok is not the amount of Twitter or Instagram followers that you have, but to say to be a Springbok is to do whatever you do every day, whether people see you or people don't see you. Obviously, what you portray off the field, that's ultimately where people measure you to. Yeah. And yeah, as I said, it's a very special brand. And obviously the guys who've been, they will know what's it all about. I think every rugby player in the country are striving to become responsibility.
Yeah. And JJ, like many years ago, New Zealand rugby went through a bit of a shift where some of the younger players apparently came in and were a little bit less respectful towards the jersey and stuff, and they were pulled into line by the senior players. And since then, apparently, there's been a very sort of stringent, strict ethos within New Zealand, which has obviously worked for their rugby because they are certainly, if not the top team in the world. Do the younger players come in with a level of respect, and do the older ones sort of keep them in check?
I would say that I think everybody, whether you played 100 tests or your first test, I think everybody's, especially in the current squad that we have, everybody's equal, and that's the opportunity that Rassie gave. He said, you must. Each player's opinion is valid in the team, you know. For instance, a guy like Herschel Yankees, when he came in, he plays come off. You have guys who've been there, who've been around the block, guys with 80, 60 tests, 50 tests, but as a scrum half, Herschel Yankees knows what the role of a scrum half should be, and obviously there's stuff that he knows which can add value to the team. So, but everybody that's in the system, they'll know that there should be respect towards one another, respect for as you said, the team ethos, what the team stands for. And yeah, whether you're old or whether you played or your first test, everyone is treated equally in the team.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. And JJ, tell me, with regards to the kit, do the players wear the shirt once and then there's a new shirt for the next game, or is the kit used more than once? And if not, what happens to those shirts?
The Springbok players are very privileged or fortunate. Obviously, for each game, we get two new jerseys to play in. Obviously, as you know, we personalize the jerseys for the player. Get on your match information, who we play, the date, where we play, and obviously the total amount of caps also get embroidered onto the jersey. So the player have the option whether he wants to exchange the jersey after the game. But we basically do it for weather, especially when it rains, when it's wet. Obviously, he has an option to put on a dry jersey or put on a dry jersey for the second half. And then obviously when he wants to exchange the jersey, then he'll have one for himself, and obviously he can exchange one with his opposition.
Yeah. And tell us, JJ, at halftime, do the players come in and into the change room, eat and drink anything, or is it quick come in, sort of team talk, and then out again?
No, lately the halftime break is 12 minutes. So when you come in, I think the first 4 minutes would be the players themselves with the medical team. Obviously, look at about niggles, getting feet up, getting rehydrated again, getting something to eat. Some of them do, some of them don't. In the past, we had guys who had coffee at halftime. Obviously after that they will split up. The forwards goes, the back line will go to the back line coach. Obviously the coach will call them in for the last 3 or 4 minutes, just go over the plan, see what works, see what did not work, and then obviously coaches out, team with themselves for the last 30-40 seconds, and then it's back onto the field. Yeah.
And have you ever had any strange requests for requirements in the dressing room from any of the players?
Very strange requests, as I said. There's guys who opted for some coffee or tea at halftime. But nowadays, we've got a dietitian with us, who's traveling with us. So she's very strict, and obviously the guys exactly know what their needs are at halftime to give them that the go for the second half. Yeah, but yeah, they quite professional when it comes to that.
And any strange superstitions of any of the players in the dressing room? I mean, I've heard days of bats being stuck on the roof and shoes being hidden and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything amongst the Bok team now that's any strange superstitions that the guys do?
There is guys who when you come into the change room, guys will put the bags down. Some will opt to sit in the cubicle. Some will opt to go out and get a feel of the atmosphere outside. Some will play their music in the headphones. But lately, there's a guy that's appointed to be the DJ for the day. So that guy will ensure that he keeps the vibe in the change room. Obviously, respect each other. And then obviously there's guys who will change the short that will say that, but it will be the same short, but it says this one doesn't fit him, but it will be the same size. And there's guys who would prefer to put the right foot first and then obviously put the left foot on. There's guys who prefer to not put their jersey on before they run onto the field. So yeah, there's lots of superstitions going around in the change room.
It must keep you on your toes and quite entertained throughout your working time with them. JJ, just in closing, you've obviously had more than 100 tests with the Boks now, which is a tremendous feat. You've been to 3 World Cups. Has there been a moment in your career that's been a standout that you look back now and say, "Jeepers, that was absolutely unbelievable"?
Yeah, there's been a couple. As I said, every test match is special, as it is for players. You know, we as the management, the backroom staff, which is part of the team, it's special when you go out and they sing the national anthem, especially when you play at home with our South African people behind us. there's special places, if you go to Cardiff, where the people love singing. If you go down under to New Zealand, it's always tough. But rightfully, I went to 3 World Cups. I think the last one was very special. The way the guys went about it, very professional. The way the guys sacrificed as a group, players, management, coaches, all included, went to a lot of sacrifices, and the way the guys stick to the task. The guys stick to the task, obviously, of no egos in the team, guys, that brotherhood, playing for the guy next to you, playing for your family, and obviously playing for the country. And I think that will be the standout up to my career thus far. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. JJ, it's been awesome chatting to you. We could chat for all afternoon about all the quirks and things that happen inside the dressing room. But thank you for your time. Thanks for sharing with us on Sport SA Daily Diary. And keep up the amazing work that you're doing, making the Springboks who they are, the unbeatable Boks.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for the chat, and obviously the times that we are. Stay safe, and let's do the correct thing, eh?
Absolutely. Thanks, JJ. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Catch tomorrow's episode of Sport SA Daily Diary. We reach out to a man who's been jumping out of an aeroplane for nearly half of his life.